Welcome to the screencast for partitive and quotitive measurement problems using advanced bar model drawing. If you are new to model drawing, I recommend you first view the basic model drawing videos, which can be accessed on the same website where you found this video, at this web address. The videos can be found in the grade level folders for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. You can find even more advanced bar model problems in the bar model problems folder. When you read a word problem that involves division, you can ask yourself whether it is a partitive or quotitive division problem. Once you can answer that question, it will be easy to design your bar model. A partitive division problem is one where you know the total number of groups and you're trying to find out how many parts are in each group. A quotitive division problem is one where you know the number of items in each group and you're trying to find the number of groups. Let's look at an illustration for a partitive division problem. Jillian has 45 cookies. She wants to share them equally between herself and her 2 sisters. How many cookies did each sister receive? We know how many groups there are, the number of sisters, and we're trying to find out how many parts are in each group, how many cookies each sister will receive. Let's also take a look at a quotitive illustration. Mrs. Andrews has 96 marbles to place in bags for her students to use in a probability experiment. If she places 8 marbles in each bag, how many bags of marbles will Mrs. Andrews have to use for the probability experiment? We know the number of items in each group, 8 marbles, and we're trying to find the number of groups, how many bags of marbles we'll have. Here is the first problem we will solve. Kim spent $67.25 on 5 electronic books. The cost of 2 books was $26. If the other 3 books each cost the same, what was the price of one of those books? Since we need to find out the price of one of the books, our sentence statement can be, Kim spent blank dollars for each of the other books. When rereading the problem, we identify the important information we need to solve the problem. This problem is partitive because we know the number of groups, 5, and we need to find out how much is in each group, or how much each book costs. The whole for this problem is the $67.25 Kim spent, so this unit bar will represent that money. It's subdivided into 5 pieces because we're told that Kim bought 5 electronic books with $67.25. We know that the cost for 2 of the books was $26, so we can show that with a bracket. We can put our question mark inside one of the remaining 3 pieces, because that is what we want to find out. Since 2 books were $26, we can subtract that from the total of $67.25 to find that the remaining 3 books cost $41.25. If 3 units equals $41.25, then 1 unit will be $41.25 divided by 3, which is $13.75. Kim spent $13.75 for each of the other books. Here's a much simpler part-whole problem. Angie bought a racing bike for $1,920 including tax. If she pays for it in 8 equal payments, what will be the dollar amount of each payment? Since we need to find out how much each payment will be, our sentence statement can be, each payment will be blank dollars. When rereading the problem, we identify the important information we need to solve the problem. This problem is partitive because we know the number of groups, 8, and we need to find out how much is in each group, or how much each payment will be. The whole for this problem is the $1,920 Angie spent on the racing bike. So this unit bar will represent that money. It's subdivided into 8 pieces because we're told that Angie paid for the bike in 8 equal payments. Since we want to know how much each of those payments is going to be, we put the question mark in one of those pieces of our model. This problem is pretty straightforward in that it's pretty easy to see that our math will be $1,920 divided by 8, which is $240. Each payment will be $240. Here's another part-whole problem. Felicia bought some embroidery floss for the cross-stitch project she was working on. Each color of embroidery floss cost her 30 cents. If she spent a total of $4.80 on embroidery floss, how many colors did she buy? Since we need to find out how many colors Felicia bought, our sentence statement can be, Felicia bought blank colors of embroidery floss. When rereading the problem, we identify the important information we need to solve the problem. This problem is quotitive because we know the number of items in each group, the cost of 30 cents, and we need to find out how many groups there are, which is how many colors of embroidery floss Felicia bought. The whole for this problem is Felicia's money, so this unit bar will represent the $4.80 she spent on embroidery floss. Since we know that this unit bar will be divided by the number of colors of embroidery floss, which we don't know yet, and we know that each color will cost 30 cents, we can show that like this. The dots in the middle represent an unknown number that we need to find out. We can also drop down and show that each 30 cents that we divide this bar by represents one color, and our question mark can go at the end of this bar or with the bracket that says number of colors. Now we're ready to let our model drive the math. We need to find out how many 30 cents will go into $4.80. So $4.80 divided by 30 cents equals 16. Felicia bought 16 colors of embroidery floss. Here's another part whole problem. Ben earns $25 shoveling each driveway. He is saving up for a trip to Disneyland. If he already has $250 in savings and he needs $1,550 for the trip, how many driveways will Ben need to shovel? Since we need to find out how many driveways Ben needs to shovel, our sentence statement can be, Ben will need to shovel blank driveways. When rereading the problem, we identify the important information we need to solve the problem. This problem is quotitive because we know the number of items in each group, the price of $25, and we need to find out how many groups there are, which is how many driveways Ben needs to shovel. The whole for this problem is the money Ben needs for his trip to Disneyland. So this unit bar will represent the $1,550 he needs. The problem tells us that Ben already has $250 in savings, so we should show that on our unit bar. Since we know that the rest of this unit bar will be divided by the number of driveways Ben needs to shovel, which we don't know yet, and we know that each driveway will earn him $25, we can show that like this. The dots in the middle represent the unknown number that we need to find out. Our question mark goes with the bracket for the number of driveways that Ben needs to shovel. Now we're ready to let our model drive the math. First, we should subtract $250 from $1,550 to find out what amount Ben needs to earn by shoveling driveways. 1,550 minus 250 equals 1,300. Let's make another bracket and put that $1,300 here. Next, we need to find out how many $25 will go into $1,300. So $1,300 divided by $25 equals 52. Ben will need to shovel 52 driveways. I'd like you to try this last part whole problem on your own. Pause the video while you solve it. When you're ready to check your answer, start the video again. Did you remember to write a sentence statement? It takes some practice to remember to do that first. Did you identify the important information? Did you think about whether or not this problem is partitive or quotitive? Does your model look similar to mine? Did you follow the same process, or did you approach it another way? Did you find that Natasha bought 5 pounds of ground beef? This concludes the screencast on partitive and quotitive measurement problems. I hope you will take the time to explore other Singapore math videos. Singapore math is just plain good math.